Okay, to use the calculator I listed to help you with today's assignment, you are going to open up your Google Classroom, and this is our Algebra 2 classroom. And here is an announcement from today's work. On here, you're going to have a link. That link is to a calculator that will help us solve some of the problems that I gave you in your packet. So you've seen me use this in class. Here is where you enter in your data sets. So if I have one set of data, I'll list it in here. Histograms, if I want a histogram plotted, right now that button is sort of shaded in, so that means it's plotted. If I want to change the bin width, let's say I want groups that are more than just one apart, then I increase this. And then you'll have to figure out the best axis to use, or sometimes it'll be provided. And then I'll go over these box plots and single variable statistics in just a second. So let's say I'm going to look at my homework, and I have this is the last problem on that page about the farmer. I'm wondering about his crops going better in the sun or the shade. So I'm going to come back over to my calculator, and I'm just going to use this to enter in the data. So the data set's my first one that I'm entering in: 10.8, 13.3, 22.1, 58.1, and then 100. Just to see where this first data set is at, I'm noticing that the numbers are pretty spread out, so it's going to take me a minute to probably get them all on my screen. It's only been 1 point for each, so if I look right here, now I've got all of them in the screen. If I want to see what the box plot would look like that's associated with this, I'm going to click box plot, and now it's going to graph a box plot. Sometimes the numbers are a little squishy, so again, you can zoom in or out depending on what you need to do to help you understand the problems. And also, if that's not working and I can't see my numbers very well, I'm going to click the single variable statistics. And here's where I'm getting a lot of the information I need. The checksum helps me make sure that the numbers I put in are the correct numbers, that they add up to the right amount. Here is the mean of this information, 40.86. As I'm looking at this, that mean looks like it would be right here, which is pretty skewed away from the center of the data. The first quartile, the median, is at 22.1. If the mean and the median are in a similar place, then it's probably more symmetrical data. And my maximum is 100. My standard deviations are listed right here. The S stands for sample standard deviation. Since the farmer just got a sample of his plants, and that is a standard deviation I would use. 38.112 is a really far spread, and I can tell from this interquartile range. 79.05, and then also 12.05. My interquartile range is over 50, representing a huge spread in the data. If I wanted to add a second graph to this, as it says in my homework to compare the two on the same set of axes, then I'm going to enter in these amounts. I put them right next to it here to help me understand. On your paper, you will need to graph them separately. But this will help you just make sure that you are scaling correctly, and it can be a great source of how you can describe your information. Oops. Just go arrow down. And as you enter these in, it's going to graph them not on the same axis, but on a window right below your other information. And my data set, since I already have my box plot, my single variable statistics, my set for data 2 is already on display. Here you can see I can move this over also, and that can help us compare the two. Let's see if I spread this out a little bit more. Nope, that's shrinking it in. So I might want to spread my x-axis out just a little bit more if I can. That's a little bit too big, but you can see how spread this data is. Because it is not symmetrical, because I have some larger numbers that are skewing the data, this would not be an appropriate time to use my standard deviation or the mean as a good understanding of these plants. If I use the mean, I would say that the plants that fruit gathered from sunny trees and fruit gathered from shady trees, this is my sunny tree one, the average growth is 40.86, but when I'm looking at my data, the lower clusters are here, the 22.1. And that's how you would use this calculator to find the different information. Again, to change the bin width, maybe I'll go like this, and then I can increase it to 2. Each of these are pretty far apart, so they aren't going to be clumped in the same bin until I go to like 20. Okay, and that's it.